Dmitry Bivol, 31 years old, same as Canelo. Born in the Soviet Union, now Kyrgyzstan. Father is from Moldova, mother of Korean descent. He made his pro debut in 2014. He's 19-0, 11 knockouts to his name. He's been a WBA light heavyweight champion since 2017. He hasn't registered, however, a KO since 2018 versus Sullivan Barrera. All his last 6 fights since then have been unanimous decisions. However, I think what you can say about that is that he has faced pretty decent competition in those 6 UDs that he won. Of course, the notable ones against John Pascal, and of course we mentioned Joe Smith Jr. But yeah, interesting fighter, Chris.
Yeah.
Look, before we move on, do you think he has any chance? Let's just move everything, all the other topics out the way. Do you think he has a chance against Canelo?
I think he has a better chance than anybody else. I think he has a better chance than Caleb Plant. He has a better chance than did
Billy Joe Saunders.
Billy Joe. He's of all
Callum
those guys.
Smith.
If anybody has a good chance, I would give Bivol a good little margin.
Does he have a better chance than Golovkin if Golovkin faces Canelo again?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's definitely the tougher test at this point. In 2022, he's a more dangerous fighter than Golovkin is in 2022. But yeah, I do give Bivol a chance. I think, what you just mentioned, his background, him being from Eastern European, the mentality that he has, he's a very self-aware fighter. I believe he's a guy that knows, Canelo's just a man just like me. And I think he's very aware that he doesn't have to necessarily knock out Canelo, because in my opinion, no one's gonna knock out Canelo. Like, don't even, But I think he's self-aware that he's like, I could probably beat him. I could win 6-7 rounds if I play my cards right and to upset,
and
as you say,
Maybe a hot take here, because I see our guy Derek. He says, "What about David David Benavidez?" I think he has a better chance of beating Canelo than David Benavidez. We've heard some stories about those sparring matches. Perhaps Benavidez getting the best of Bivol, but I think sparring is different than the actual fight. I think Bivol is a smarter fighter than David Benavidez. I think he's more responsible defensively. I think he has more experience, and all those factors, I think, come into play against a guy like Canelo. I don't think David Benavidez at the moment is ready for a Canelo, even though most people seem to think so. But look, it's the same thing that they've said about Callum Smith, before Canelo made the move to 175. Callum Smith is too big. He will hurt Canelo. Canelo moves up, takes him out, wipes him out. Same thing they have been saying about Billy Joe Saunders since forever. We've had good friends who used to say, I think Billy Joe would be Canelo's biggest test, and he might even beat Canelo. Not a chance, right? A lot of people are saying Caleb Plant. A lot of people are saying Triple G would have stopped Canelo. And we've seen how all those fights have turned out. So I think right now Benavidez has marketed himself really well, but I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's faced anybody like that. I think he still has a lot to learn. He still has many fights to take and improve on, and he doesn't even have a title at the moment. So, look, I think if anybody is to beat Canelo right now, I think there's 2 guys, and their names, in my opinion, are Arthur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol.
Yeah, I completely agree. I know Canelo's, said somebody else's name 2-3 divisions higher than that, 175, but we'll get to that on another time. But the 2 biggest threats in this division at 175 definitely has to be Bivol and Beterbiev. And some people say Beterbiev is a bigger threat because of that
the power,
just that power, that natural power. But I mean, Bivol does have some of that too. And the thing that Bivol has that Beterbiev doesn't is he's a little bit more mobile, a little bit more technically sound and younger, fresher. And that's something that I feel like people don't, especially, I know we say the casuals don't take into account. They don't know how, that Bivol is a combination of a fresh fighter, but an experienced fighter. He's in his 30s. He's fought some good names. I think he's coming in the right time. You know,
he only has 19
Benavidez,
pro fights. He only has 19 pro fights.
Yeah, at this stage, that's a good amount of fights, though. I know you mentioned Benavidez. Benavidez, very skilled, very fast for that division, but still, you know, still very young. Still hasn't fought those bigger names in that division. So I feel like Bivol is coming into a right time. This is his moment.
Let's not forget, I mentioned Bivol being more responsible defensively. Benavidez has been dropped before. And Big Bro agrees. He says Benavidez ain't ready. He needs to fight Plant or Charlo. Probably get stopped by a body shot. We haven't really seen Benavidez get hit like that. You know, like I stated before, he got dropped against a guy he probably shouldn't have got dropped against. But yeah, I agree. He needs to take those fights. I hope Plant gets in the ring with him. I think Benavidez beats him. But even then, a lot of people I'm sure, are taking Plant in that fight. So I think Benavidez still has some work to do. And I think Bivol has earned his stripes. You know, big win against Joe Smith Jr., big win against John Pascal. You know, I'm not sure if he's ready for a guy like Canelo, but I think if anyone out there is, it's him and Beterbiev. And like you stated, Bivol is a little fresher. He's a little more mobile, you know. So I think 50-50 between those guys. Everyone's saying, oh, Beterbiev is this monster. Of course, he has stopped all of his opponents, right?